Welcome back to From the Pages of WWF Magazine, the July 2000 issue, the official publication of the World Wrestling Federation. During the height of the Attitude Era, a time when the company was dominating television ratings, selling out arenas across North America, and turning its superstars into some of the most recognizable figures in entertainment. The issue begins the way many WWF Magazine editions of the era did, by handing the microphone to the fans themselves. The letters to the editor section shows how passionate the audience had become during this period. Readers write in debating the future of Chris Jericho, wondering whether the loudmouthed Y2J could one day capture the WWF Championship. Others focus on the arrival of Taz, examining whether the intense fighter who had dominated ECW could rise to the top of the Federation as well. Some fans praise the controversial Stevie Richards article titled The Bite, while others dismiss Richards as nothing more than a wrestler trying to imitate bigger stars. There's also heated discussion surrounding Kane and Tori, with readers arguing over whether Kane deserved the betrayals he suffered at the hands of former allies. The editorial replies printed beside the letters keep the conversation moving, acknowledging that fan reactions and opinions are part of what makes wrestling such a lively form of entertainment. Not long after those letters, the magazine pauses for one of the most striking advertisements in the entire issue. A stark public service campaign from thetruth.com spreads across 2 pages, showing a lone man standing on a beach, holding a digital counter displaying the number of deaths caused by tobacco each year. The message is blunt and direct, stating that tobacco kills hundreds of thousands of Americans annually, more than AIDS, murder, suicide, alcohol, drugs, and traffic accidents combined. In the middle of a wrestling magazine filled with larger-than-life personalities and chaotic rivalries, the ad lands with surprising seriousness. From there, the magazine moves into the lighter feature sections, beginning with Tales from the Turnbuckle, which highlights a new WWF home video project built around the Federation's divas. The video was filmed in the Dominican Republic and features Ivory, Tori, Terry, the Cat, and Trish Stratus relaxing and posing along tropical beaches. The article paints the footage as a mixture of travelogue and glamour showcase, describing scenes of the women enjoying the warm Caribbean sun, walking along the sand, and leaving their footprints along the shoreline. According to the magazine, the video explores every side of the divas and promises fans an unforgettable look at some of the Federation's most popular personalities. Another advertisement appears nearby that perfectly reflects the technology culture of the year 2000. Rocket Cash promotes a new online payment system allowing young internet users to buy products without a credit card. The ad jokes that, while someone can apparently purchase UFO abduction insurance online, buying a video game is still difficult without a credit card, unless you use Rocket Cash. The magazine also provides fans with a WWF pay-per-view guide, listing upcoming events including King of the Ring in Boston, Fully Loaded in Dallas, and SummerSlam scheduled for Raleigh. Alongside those listings is a full tour schedule covering arenas across the United States, from Anaheim and Sacramento to Albany, Kansas City, and Long Island. A promotional offer promises that fans who order the King of the Ring event and send proof of purchase will receive a Stone Cold Steve Austin can cooler as a free gift. The first personality profile in the issue appears in the Rookies to Legends department and focuses on SmackDown ring announcer Lillian Garcia. The article explains that Garcia's career in entertainment began long before she stepped inside a wrestling ring. She had been performing on stage since childhood, eventually studying media arts and working in television commercials and radio before auditioning for the Federation. Her ability to sing the national anthem during WrestleMania impressed both fans and colleagues, and she quickly became one of the most recognizable voices in the company. Garcia admits that performing in front of thousands of passionate wrestling fans can be intimidating, but she relies on experience and preparation to handle the pressure. The opinion columns arrive next and provide a glimpse into the debates surrounding the roster at that moment in wrestling history. In Face to Face, writer Aaron Williams passionately defends the Radicals, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, and Perry Saturn. Williams argues that critics who dismiss them as boring are ignoring the dedication and technical skill that made them champions. He reminds readers that Malenko captured the light heavyweight championship, Guerrero held the European title, Benoit claimed the Intercontinental Championship, and Saturn earned the Hardcore Championship within a short period after arriving in the WWF. According to the column, their work ethic and wrestling ability represent the very essence of professional competition. Right beside that defense appears a contrasting perspective in My Two Cents, written by Laura. She acknowledges that the Radicals are extremely talented, but argues that the WWF demands more than athletic skill. In her view, the Federation thrives on personality, charisma, and emotional connection with the fans. She compares the Radicals with performers like Chris Jericho, The Rock, and the Hardy Boys, superstars who provoke strong reactions from the audience through character and spectacle. The magazine then moves into its main feature stories, beginning with one of the most unusual personality pieces in the issue. If the Big Show steals, it examines the strange habit of Big Show borrowing the gimmicks and mannerisms of other superstars. The towering 7-foot giant had recently appeared on Saturday Night Live and began leaning heavily into his comedic side. But according to fellow wrestlers, his attempts to win over the crowd by copying others were beginning to cause tension backstage. The article describes incidents where Big Show imitated Rikishi's dancing, borrowed elements of Val Venis's persona, and even took the braids and do-rag associated with Grandmaster Sexay. Big Show defends himself by saying that in wrestling everyone borrows ideas at one time or another. But critics argue that fans would rather see the original than an imitation. The story ends by suggesting that Big Show's search for acceptance may ultimately force him to discover who he really is inside the ring. The next feature shifts attention to one of the most dangerous tag teams in the Federation. Thou Shalt Not Mess with the Dudleys recounts an incident during a WWF Magazine photo shoot where Bubba Ray Dudley attacked managing editor Laura Bryson and drove her through a table. The Dudley Boyz had already earned a reputation for brutal table matches, but the article emphasizes how unpredictable their behavior had become. According to the story, Bubba Ray responded to criticism by threatening anyone who dared question the Dudleys' destructive style. The issue continues with All-Star Raiders, a playful feature where Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle evaluates fellow superstars. Angle hands out figurative gold stars to wrestlers he believes embody skill, discipline, and competitive spirit. Next comes Give This Dog a Bone, focusing on Road Dogg and his attempts to climb out of the Federation's metaphorical doghouse after a series of setbacks. Another feature, titled Game Over, examines the growing tension surrounding Triple H, known as The Game, and the superstars who have begun challenging his dominance. Toward the end of the magazine, a dramatic photo spread titled Takin' a Whippin' and Keep on Kickin' captures some of the punishment endured by wrestlers during the Backlash pay-per-view event, presenting a series of images showing the toll that these battles take on the competitors. Between the articles, the advertisements continue to reveal the culture of the year 2000. One ad promotes Chef Boyardee canned pasta meals, while another encourages gamers to visit DailyRadar.com for entertainment news. A colorful advertisement for Wario Land 3 on Game Boy Color promises hours of adventure even if rain ruins a vacation. Another ad highlights Squaresoft's PlayStation game Vagrant Story, describing a dark fantasy world filled with espionage and monsters. Taken together, the July 2000 issue of WWF Magazine captures the Federation at the peak of the Attitude Era. The roster is filled with powerful personalities, controversial storylines, and larger-than-life rivalries. The pages are crowded with advertisements aimed at young fans growing up alongside the rise of video games and the internet. And throughout the entire magazine, the voice of the audience remains loud, passionate, and deeply invested in the drama unfolding inside the squared circle. If you enjoy opening these classic wrestling magazines and reliving the stories that shaped the Attitude Era, take a moment to like the video and subscribe so you can join us for the next issue. See ya next time. Farewell from the Empire State.